I'm dying by the gun. It's been a long road, coming from the bottom. What you don't know won't hurt you. That's a lie. I'm off that long road, still up in the bottom.
What's up, everybody? New Never You, another video. Now, there's a lot of things I've talked about on this channel, as you can agree, but there's one thing that I don't think I've ever talked about, and that was truth, at least in the whole entirety of truth. And so today I want to talk about that. So a lot of things have transpired over the past few days that I think that we can all agree have been pretty bad. By the time you're seeing this, I should be in context with saying yesterday there was the shooting at the elementary school in Texas. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about the LGBTQ plus 2 or 2+. I'm not sure the proper name for it. There's the war in Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on, but there's a lot of things that people, I believe, feel like they can't talk about, they can't mention, they can't delve into without getting some kind of kickback, some kind of flack. So I'm here to take the flack for you because I think truth is very important. I think it's something that needs to be said, and I think that the reason a lot of things happen is because the world is devoid of truth, and a lot of people don't want to speak the truth because, like I said earlier, they don't want the flack, they don't want the backlash. Now, if you look up the word truth, truth is defined as something that's based on fact or reality. True. There's a lot of things that are not based off of fact or reality that people want to believe as the truth. There's this big movement going on for I don't know how many years where people say, speak my truth, as in what they believe, how they feel. And just because you believe in something, just because you feel greatly about something, does not make it true. And that's just facts. So if I believe something that's completely devoid from reality and say that it's my truth, nowadays, it's kind of acceptable because people are like, I don't want to really argue with that. That's not really my place. It's not affecting me or mine, so it's not really a problem. But in reality, those type of situations are how things become problems, because you let people get to a point where they feel like they're above the truth, or what's true for them is the only thing that matters. And those are the people that end up creating something or doing something or just becoming a problem. And it all starts small. Nothing ever starts as something just boom, catastrophic and just takes over the planet. It's always something small that could have been avoided, but people were afraid. Now, I've played a lot of video games. I've read a lot of stories involving war, and in war, 9 times out of 10, from what I've read and from what I've played, anytime you go to war with somebody, you always try to kill the children and the women. Because you kill the women because the women can have more offspring, and then you kill the children because you don't want the children to grow up and rebel. And then they usually leave the men alive as slaves. Now, they may keep some women or some children, to raise them as their own or whatever. Kind of like slavery. They take the women and the children away from the men, and then the men are devoid from love and tenderness and all those such things. So you drive the men to insanity, basically, to keep them working, keep them grinding, keep them doing everything that you want them to do, while you either kill the children and the women, or you take them as personal slaves. So if we look at the shooting of the elementary school in Texas, he killed, I believe, 19 elementary kids, 18-year-old. Now, I was reading the articles and I was, digging through stuff after I got off, and they said the guy, the killer, purchased 2 assault rifles as soon as he turned 18. They said he worked at Wendy's. They said he had a troubled past. He had mugshots. He went to jail a few times, from what I read. I don't know the guy personally. People said he had streaks of violence, but nobody said anything. Nobody from the article. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but based off what the article said, nobody said anything. And the thing that's confusing to me is that everybody is an activist after something happens. Where are the people that need to be, looking after in this situation, these children before something happens? And it's not like this is the first time this has happened. So it's not like you can say, well, we weren't prepared because we've never seen anything on this stage before. There's kids being kidnapped all over the country. Kids getting killed all over the country. It's common knowledge. But it's always after a tragedy happens that people want to, let's pray for the country. Let's do something for the country. Let's blah, 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 blah for the country. It's too late then. It is past too late. And you want to talk about people being insensitive. You got these news reporters and camera crews taking pictures of people at their probably worst moment of grieving because they lost their child, their grandchild, their brother, their sister, whatever. And nobody sees a problem with that because it's needed to provide a story, to provide a narrative. So somebody had to go out there and do their job and invade somebody's moment of grief to provide you with information that, truth be told, you probably won't care about in a week because you have your own life. And that's just how it is. This is a society where if somebody goes through something, then it's a big deal. And if somebody you don't know goes through something of the similar thing, it's a big deal, but it's not as big as a deal as my friend, my brother, my sister, whatever. And those are the same people that are like, human rights, Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. It's always those people that they feel it if somebody they know feels it. But if the person it's ridiculous. Now I want to transition over to the race war that I feel like that they've been trying to cook up for forever. It's always Caucasians/whites versus Black/African Americans. Every time I'm not gonna say every time. When's the last time you had a conversation with somebody about race or something? And when somebody brings up the question, well, was he Black? Was he white? It's never, was he Puerto Rican? Was he Asian? Was he Hispanic? It's always Black and white. Then you got these serious groups of people that has this great disdain for Black people. And then you have this serious group of people that has this disdain for white people. You have Black people that feel like all white people are evil. You have the same side on the white side feel like all Black people are evil. And then you have all these people in the Black community that heavily use the N-word, heavily call their women in their community the B-word, sluts, whores, hoes, whatever. But if somebody outside the community does the same thing of a different race, you're ready to fight, kill, and steal, destroy your whole city to get to that group of people or that person. And it makes no sense because you're degrading what you're fighting for if somebody else degrades it. As if to say, I do what I want with mine, but you have no right to do the same thing. And if somebody of a different race comes in and loves or embraces your community, and I'm still referring to the Black community, a lot of Black people call them culture vultures or invaders, or they only do that because they have no culture. So what do you want from white people? And what do you want from Asians? What do you want from Puerto Ricans? Because if they can't embrace it without being culture vultures, or they can't hate it without being racist, then what's left? What are you leaving for other people to want, other than to think that you're all psychopaths, narcissists, crazy people? I just don't understand. And I'm not white, so I can't speak on why certain white people hate Black people and hate other races of people. I know based off of history what we're told, but I'm sure it's deeper than that. I mean, you know, you got the Anglo-Saxons, the white man's burden, all these things that play a factor into it. The what's this, a book? Let me see if I can find it. The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. Now, I read that book, and it talks about how to keep black people enslaved, or it calls them Negroes in the books, or the other word. How to keep them enslaved and how to make them feel like they're always in conflict with other people, i.e. white people, and how white people are supposed to be their savior, and all kinds of things. It's a good book for educational purposes. It's like $10 on Amazon. If you want to read it, I suggest you pick it up. A lot of truth in there. And it details this whole outline of how the race war has been going on for so long, and people just fall victim to it. And it's crazy, to the point where I'll have people tell me that that I'm not black enough because I use correct grammar and jargon and all these different things, and I don't use slang words to define everything, and I don't swear, I don't use the N-word, I don't go to nightclubs, I don't drink Hennessy, you know, I don't do the stereotypical things that black people are supposed to do. And there's white people that tell me that I'm not black enough because I don't do those things. So right there, that's racist. But you know, I just keep it moving. I don't kick it with those people. And then you have black people that tell you you're not black enough because you don't do those things. And if you're not accepted by white people as being black, if you're not accepted as for being accepted by black people as being black, then you just kind of feel like you're just in this enigmatic stage. And for the longest time, I didn't know how to feel. So I just kind of did my own thing until I realized I'm a human first, and then my skin and all that other stuff plays a factor. It doesn't really matter to me about the race thing, because at the end of the day, we all feel, we all eat, we all drink, we all do these things. And I'm capable of doing just as many chaotic and destructive things as that 18-year-old kid did in Texas as anybody else. And if I tell myself that I'm not, then I'm delusional, and I'm just afraid to face the truth. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. They try to make it like, well, I would never do that to kids. I would never do that to a woman. I would never do that to a person. Push and push far enough, you probably would. And to say that you're not capable of doing it means you don't know yourself. And that's a lot more dangerous than you think it is. You know, I remember being younger when growing up, a lot of people wanted to help you be the best version of yourself. Nowadays, nobody wants to help you unless it's beneficial to them. And then there's a lot of people that just want to take advantage of you to make it beneficial for them. And if you bring it up or if you defend yourself, then you're just somebody that's not easy to talk to. You're not compliant to, I guess, the goals that they had in mind. And so you end up being by yourself. So I also want to make this video to let people know that, you know, it's okay to stand up for the truth, to stand up for the right thing. It's okay to do that. And if you do that, yes, you are going to face hardships. Yes, you are going to face kickback. Anytime you do the right thing, you're not going to get the same results as somebody that's willing to sell out, willing to sell their soul for monetary gain or fame, or, you know, stepping over people. All that stuff that they're doing, they're going to face retribution for it. But you have to focus on moving forward. You can't focus on all the evil and unjust things that are going on, because evil's going to happen. Evil has no rhyme or reason on why it's evil. Evil is just evil, and that's just what evil does. I know I said evil a lot, but you have to focus on the bigger picture. And I know there's going to be a lot of pain, there's going to be a lot of suffering to put truth out there. You may potentially lose jobs, opportunities, friends, family members, marriages, but doing the right thing, it's always better than doing the wrong thing for the benefit of somebody else. And that's 100% fact. So don't be afraid to speak the truth, not your truth, the truth, the absolute truth, the 100% truth. Don't get stuck in this new age way of thinking to where if it's true for you, it's true for you, and it doesn't have to be true for anybody else. Focus on the factual truth, and don't let people tell you because you're a certain race, you're supposed to feel a certain way, or you're supposed to think a certain way, or because you're a certain gender, you're supposed to feel a certain way or think a certain way. Be a human being. Search for the truth. Search for the things that are absolute. And I guarantee you, in the end, you will be a much better person, and you'll also be a lot better off. I am new, never you. And if you didn't know, now you do.
Working on a masterpiece, searching for a peace of mind. Work so hard they laugh at me, but worrying about them is a waste of time. I be who I gotta be. People switch up bedtime, trying to throw me off, but I keep my eyes on the prize.